It is a new year, we are well into 2020, and I'm sitting down with Travis today so that we can go over our goals for our businesses.
And we're going to talk about how we're going to reach those goals as well. So this isn't just going to be all about us, it's going to hopefully be some tactical tips as well.
Yeah.
What are your goals? Like, what are some of your goals for 2020?
So one of my major ones is wholesale. I want to put vino cards in boutiques, wine shops, wineries. I want to have more visibility to the wine community and have them have a physical box to look at.
How are you going to do that? So that's a big thing, because Ariana did just have her first wholesale sale, which congratulations. I know you've been working on that for a little while.
Yes, and I'm going to talk about it in another video, but I did place a wholesale order with someone in Northern California. They have a massive winery and they did agree to have vino cards in their store. So I'm very excited about that. I want to do that more. And what I'm going to do is basically I need to do cold calls to local shops. I want to keep it a little more local so that I can go in person and check it out, take photos and interact with people. And I also want to send out through emails. And I'm still new to the wholesale space. I don't know a lot about it. Travis hasn't done it either, but we want to both learn to put our products into a wholesale space.
Yeah, and part of the reason I haven't, I won't talk too much about this, is I've been having enough success with Amazon and wholesale, especially as you start to get bigger, it's tough. There's like 30-day, like net 30, so they don't pay you until 30 days after your sale. But if you're doing smaller boutiques, that's not the case. So what are some of your other goals? Yeah.
So another goal I have is I do want to focus more on local boutiques and really scale it down so that I have a little more control over what's happening with the process and just to learn from it. So that way I could teach you, that way I could teach you guys on what that process looks like.
Yeah, and this is something I'm going to do eventually, but it's not, I mean, maybe in this. Now I'll talk about some of my goals really quickly, but I do want to start focusing a little bit more on performance nut butter. My goal, and by the way, we're at Atlantis, we're in the Bahamas, thanks to Ariana. She went on to the Ellen show and she was I guess in the audience on the Ellen show and won a free trip to the Bahamas.
Yeah.
So one of the things that I've been doing, I think Ariana to some degree has been doing as well, I've been actually reviewing my entire 2019. I ask myself certain questions at the end of each week, and I try to figure out, what could have made this week even better? What were the lessons I learned? And I look for patterns over the course of the year, and then I use that information to make my goals for 2020. And one of the things I noticed, I barely worked at performance nut butter at all in 2020. Ariana knows. And what I want to start doing, it's funny because originally I wanted to start working on performance nut butter 4 days a week and like really focus on it. But then I realized, you know what? I love YouTube. I love teaching, and I want to spend a lot more time with my community on YouTube, and specifically people that have put the deposit in and have joined the course. So what I decided ultimately to do is 2 days a week, Monday and Tuesday, working on performance nut butter, at least for now, and then Thursday focused 100% on the course and on people in it and really trying to get people successful, and then Friday filming new YouTube videos, writing new scripts, all that kind of stuff. And one quick thing is, I think this is a pattern I've seen in my life where if I have a goal, I want to do it 100% in full force and like almost torture myself. And in this case, the torturing myself was focus on working on performance nut butter 4 days a week, where I decided, you know what? I don't need to do that. I'm making enough money. I'm happy. If I focus 2 days a week, and I'm going to be hiring some other people. That's another, goal of mine. I do want to hire a full-time person to be working on performance nut butter, a higher level person. I might hire in the Philippines, or I might hire an American. And then that way I can kind of be the general and direct them as, they'd be my lieutenant, kind of doing all the groundwork. So some of my goals I'll just quickly rattle them off. Performance nut butter, I want to get to $100,000 revenue per month because that's a nice little benchmark. I also want to grow the community within the course, and of course, grow my YouTube channel. And then probably some other personal goals as well. Enough about me though. I will have Ariana link a video down below. I did like an hour-long video yesterday talking about everything I learned in 2019, but let's get back to Ariana. This is her channel. What are some more of your goals, and like how do you plan on achieving them in 2020?
Yeah, my biggest goal this year is to be consistent with Amazon sales. So I do want to have at least 20 sales per day. And that's not an easy thing right now. I'm not close to having 20 per day.
What do you think you're doing about right now?
Right now I'm doing about 2 to 3 per day.
Not a lot, but it's a start.
It's a start, and I want to increase that. And so this year I want to incorporate things like influencer marketing so I can consistently have people post for me, and hopefully that increase their sales with their larger audience. guardians. I also want to increase my reviews on Amazon, and right now I have about 35, I believe, and I want to get that number up because the more reviews you have, the more visibility you have on the Amazon platform.
So actually, let's do this. Let's put a link to Vino cards in the description down below. And you out there, I mean, if you want to support this channel, it's a great gift, and it has a cool story. Like if you buy this as a gift and give it to someone, you can talk about the YouTube channel, talk about how you know Ariana, and leave a review, obviously, please, once you're done in that process. Hopefully 5 stars, but you know, we can't incentivize reviews, but that'd be huge.
Yeah, that would make a big difference, especially because the algorithm works that way, where it just pushes our product up. I also want to learn way more about PPC, and all of the Amazon sellers talk about this. It's so important to increase that, and I just want to learn more about it and see how that can affect the overall sales rate that I have.
Yeah, I think I set your Amazon PPC up a while ago.
It was a while ago.
Yeah, and I didn't really optimize it, and I was basically just, let's do the bare minimum to get started.
It was when we were setting up the Amazon account. We just needed it to be live. So yeah, we'll go over that. I want to go through it and really maximize on that. And lastly, I want to build another community. So I want to have this YouTube community as well as a more focused, niche down Amazon seller group. And it'll be specifically female Amazon sellers getting together and talking about what it's like to be an Amazon seller. All of the struggles that we go through, even all of the successes, experts to beginners, like everyone coming together and sharing what they're going through when they're selling a product.
And this is huge. I think I joined a mastermind early on in my e-commerce days, like maybe 2 or 3 years into it, and my results skyrocketed because a mastermind, so it would basically be a weekly group of women, and we kind of came up with this idea a little bit together. Like, I think you already kind of had the idea, but I helped shape it for you. It'd be like a weekly group of female Amazon founders that get together and talk about what issues they're having, and then everyone helps them solve that problem. So you come and say, hey, I'm trying to increase my sales, but this isn't working, and then someone else says, well, have you tried this? Because, you know, Ariana isn't the biggest Amazon expert out there, but one thing she's really good at is bringing people together and actually kind of being a facilitator. Like if you watch our videos, I talk way more, and she lets me talk. She asks the right questions. She's there to listen, and so I think this is perfect for her. She doesn't claim to be a guru, but you know, and there'll be probably a small monthly fee, and it'll be way smaller than I think I would, way smaller than I would ever charge. But this would be a great way if you're a new Amazon seller, a female seller. Join the group, and let's put a link down below too, also, and up here to be able to join the email waitlist.
And I've created a small group of that in person with a few close friends who are selling their own product, and it's been working out so well. And I think every month when we check in with each other, we're keeping each other accountable for what they want to grow with their business. It's been a key thing, and so I want to make that on a bigger scale. I know that there are many female Amazon founders out there, and I want us to all have a space where we can be together and support each other throughout.
And that's a big thing, is accountability too. I think part of the reason a mastermind works so well for me is when you're on your own and you have a goal and you say, hey, I'm gonna get this task done by next week, and you don't do it, there's no accountability. There's like, you don't feel bad about it. But when you have a group of people that you're talking to and you say, hey, I'm gonna get this task done by next week, and you don't, they're gonna be like, hey, why not? Like, what's going on? And they're gonna help you out. And I think men especially have this idea of, I'm gonna do it by myself, and I'm the lone wolf, and that's the most ridiculous thing. I think women are a little bit better at knowing that you gotta do it as a tribe, as a community.
And I love it. It's honestly one of the best things, especially if you want to learn all the steps that go into selling a product. So highly recommend. Again, we'll put down that link there. How about you, Travis? What other goals do you have?
Yeah, so obviously I talked about performance nut butter, growing my YouTube community. Actually, one thing I want to point out is my goals, I used to set yearly goals, and I've changed that. Now I set 6-month goals. And so it's like, all right, I have certain goals that I want to get done within 6 months. And even more granular, I set 3-week goals. So I have what I call sprints, where I'll say, all right, by the end of, so recently I had a sprint, a 3-week period, where my goal was to film 12 YouTube videos. So I batched 12 YouTube videos within 3 weeks. And the reason I did this is I find when you first set a goal, you have a lot of energy, and you're like, all right, let's get this done. I'm really excited about it. And then in the middle, your energy kind of dips. And then when you say the last week, or the last few weeks before your deadline that you set in stone, you have all this energy again. So basically my goal was to film 12 videos before we came here to the Bahamas. And at the beginning of last week, I was like, oh man, I've only filmed like 5 videos. And so I rapid fire filmed a bunch of videos. And by having that set deadline, it lets you know like basically to focus on this one thing. Because I've seen this a lot in Ariana, I saw this a lot in me. A lot of entrepreneurs are all over the place. They know what's important, but they focus on a bunch of random things instead of focusing on the most important thing. So by having this 3-week sprint for me, it allows me to focus on what's most important. And then I take a week vacation, or I take a week, it doesn't have to be it doesn't have to be to the Bahamas. I could just do a staycation. Like in February, we're planning on doing a staycation in LA. And why that's so important is you work really hard and then you give yourself this reward of taking a break, and it allows you
something to work towards.
Yeah, you have this like reward, and it also allows you to reflect and say, wow, okay, what went wrong, what went right these last 3 weeks? And this last week here in the Bahamas has been like a mushroom trip. It's been like taking like drugs, because it's been so like transformational in the sense that I had so many days where I completely changed the way I view things. And I think that's another important thing. One of my goals, I don't know if you'd really call it a goal, for this let's say this next 6-month period, is to take a decent amount of time off. I want to go do a yoga retreat by myself for at least a week in Koh Phangan, Thailand, which is my favorite place in the world. I want to go to Bali, and Ariana and I are going to go to Japan. And let's talk about personal goals in just a minute, but make sure if you haven't yet to hit that subscribe button, because Ariana's going to be coming out with a ton, like she's been showing me some of the videos she's working on. She's going to be coming out with a ton of great content. What are, just rapid fire, some of your personal goals?
Yeah, I want to definitely keep up with my workouts, so at least 3 times a week, doing all sorts of Pilates, running, different types of workouts. I've been enjoying that. I want to travel more this year, so we have some trips lined up and kind of do it every other month or so. Another goal is to continue reading books throughout the year. Last year I set a goal of reading 1 book per month, and I accomplished that, and I want to do it again. There are so many good books, especially on business too, while I'm going through this journey to read, and I'm going to set that goal as well. And your rapid fire goals?
Yeah, for me, it's to get more exercise. I enjoy exercise, and that means playing team sports, basketball. I want to start doing boxing classes. That's another big one for me. Yeah. Flexibility. For the last 3 years, it's been flexibility. I was able to last year touch my toes again. And I know that doesn't sound like a big accomplishment, but I'm very stiff. So again, it's going to be able to consistently touch my toes and go for a 30-minute jog. I've had some hip injuries, and because of that, I haven't been able to go for jogs for long periods of time. But those are most of my personal goals. Yeah.
And if you want to learn more about the Amazon Female Founders Group that I'm putting together, check out this video here. It'll have all the info. Thank you guys for tuning in. We'll see you next time.
See you next time. Bye.